Welcome back to MJL 3764, collecting Elvis on vinyl. Today I thought we'd look at a 60s album. They're in the UK from 1960 to 1969. There was 28 albums issued. 15 of these were soundtracks, 6 were compilations, and that left these 7 that I would call regular albums. I've included Elvis, the NBC TV special, in this as well. I have taken out 2 compilations which could fall in the category of regular albums and compilations. Flaming Star and Summer Kisses and Elvis for Everyone. So out of these 7, let's take a look at one today, and I think we'll pick Potluck. Potluck was issued in 1962 and reached number 1 in the UK album charts the same year. The album features 12 tracks, 6 on each side. Front cover looks like that with the full title, Potluck with Elvis. Back cover looks like that. This is the mono original copy, 1962. And it's on the large silver spot. Issued again, same year, 1962, on a small silver spot. This is also a mono copy. Backside the same. And that's the small silver spot. These are 2 mono copies. Quite hard now to get a nice stereo copy. As you can see, the back sides of these, when they were white, they come discoloured and grubby very easily, so still looking for a nice stereo copy at a decent price. Years later it was issued on the RCA International label, 1981 and 1982. This is the 81 press. It's now got a different back cover. We've had for other international albums. And this one's got the RCA on the top. This is the 1981 press. 1982, exactly the same cover, same back side, but it now has the RCA down the side. That's the 82, that's the 81. Next up is a Spanish copy, slightly different cover, the RCA Victors on the top, and the tracks all in Spanish. Back covers different as well. We're sticking with the laminate. It's just a plain back cover, no ads, and the track listing in Spanish and English. This is on the black RCA Victor label. Next one up is a Japanese release, a latter Japanese release. This is on the orange. Still got the obi intact. Backside looks like that. And the record's on the orange. It also comes with an insert. Looks like that. And that. Next one up is a USA copy on the matte cover now. Backside looks like that. And the labels and the black RCA Victor. I couldn't let this video go without showing my mum's original copy of the Luck With Elvis album. Viewers out there that's seen previous videos of mine will know that they're not in the best of shape. Although this one's not as bad as some of the others, but it's still pretty bad. So it's sort of disintegrated there, plenty of sellotape. The back is very, very grubby and full of sellotape. And the album is the mono large silver spot with quite a few marks and scratches, but again it does play through all the way without any jumps or any sticking. A well played album. Very good. Looking at the track listing, there's some of these, there's some great ballads on here. Something Blue I think is a great ballad. I Feel That I've Known You Forever I think is a great ballad. That's Someone You Never Forget. Suspicion, fantastic song. Night Rider, yeah, they're my favourites. Small gripe with Gonna Get Back Home Somehow. I don't think, it's a bit muddy in the recording of that song for me, but a stellar album, 12 great tracks. Before we look at some vinyl singles, it is of course available on CD in quite a few formats. This was a nice release at the time in 2000. Something for Everyone and Luck With Elvis. This was an alternate CD, so every track was an alternate. A nice idea at the time, and before a lot of these was out officially. It was a nice release to get. Of course it is out on the FTD as a double with a nice booklet. It's also in this box set, looking like that, and of course in the 60th anniversary box set, looking like that. And you've also got this one now, the Potluck Sessions, which is obviously the ultimate 5 CD set to get, with a nice booklet as usual. Obviously always well done. You'll see where I bought mine from. Let's take a look at some of the singles that was issued from this album. Now, originally they didn't issue a single from this album until well over a year later. So let's take a look at them. The single was Kiss Me Quick, which reached number 14 in the UK chart. There's a jukebox copy. These are actually a variant. Look to the left. And the B-side was Something Blue. Years later, in fact 5 years later, when Long Legged Girl was issued as a single, they decided to put That's Someone You Never Forget on the B-side, which again is another track from the Potluck album. And later again, Suspicion was issued in 1976. Now at the time Potluck came out, a lot of people thought this was the single. There was no single issued from the album originally. Kiss Me Quick was issued later on, well over a year later, probably because they were running out of studio material. I do get why fans said it was a missed opportunity, Suspicion, not being issued as a single at the time, but maybe they should have left it off the album and issued it as a standalone single. Because to me it's slightly better than Good Luck Charm and She's Not You, which were both singles in the UK at the time and both reached #1. But I prefer it actually that they left the album as it was originally, 12 tracks, and kept the singles separately, because of course they were still doing this series back in the day, the Golden Records. So if you wanted the singles, you either bought the singles or you waited until the LP came out and you picked them up on the Golden Records. So you were actually getting 12 new tracks on the Potluck album without singles. So I know a lot of fans say, well, if you had a lead-off single, it will help sell the LP. Well, Potluck got to #1 anyway. So years later, yes, it was issued as a single, Suspicion. A lot later, 1976, and it got to #9. But obviously this was to promote this album, Elvis in Demand. A few related records now. This is the Kiss Me Quick, Suspicion reissue of the Japanese single with the misspelling. And that was on a coloured vinyl. This is a German release of Kiss Me Quick, backed with Knight Rider. Another German release, Easy Question from the Potluck album, and backed with It Feels So Right from the Elvis Is Back album. Probably to coincide with the Tickle Me film, which, as we know, featured 4 songs from the Potluck album. It's Tickle Me Volume 1 EP. And looking at the track listing, I Feel That I've Known You Forever and Knight Rider were from the Potluck album. Also on here is Slowly But Surely, which was a bonus song on Fun in Acapulco. Dirty Dirty Feeling from Elvis Is Back, and Put the Blame on Me from Something for Everybody. And Volume 2 featured another 2 tracks from the Potluck album. Easy Question and I'm Yours. It Feels So Right, again from Elvis Is Back, and Long Lonely Highway was originally a bonus song on the Kissing Cousins LP. So they, years later, did start to plunder the Potluck album, as they were short of material, as Elvis was making all the movie soundtracks. So that's the Potluck album, one of my favourite Elvis albums, one that I find myself going back to quite often and playing all the way through from start to finish. Very good LP. Thank you for watching. Till the next time, just remember, what is music? Life's no waste.